Delayed for 4 months because of the pandemic, Attorney General William Barr faced questions from the House Judiciary Committee in a combative hearing that lasted more than 4 hours. In Barr's first testimony in more than a year, Democrats questioned him about protests in Portland, about Roger Stone's commuted prison sentence, the Russia investigation, and much more. Capitol Hill correspondent Lisa Desjardins has our report.
Please rise. I will begin by swearing you in.
At the Capitol, a socially distanced confrontation over justice itself, with Democrats sharply charging that Attorney General William Barr is a puppet for President Trump.
In your time at the department, you have aided and abetted the worst failings of the president.
And with Barr insisting any decisions were his alone, not Mr. Trump's.
He has told me from the start that he expects me to exercise my independent judgment to make whatever call I think is right, and that is precisely what I've done.
The hearing covered well-known flashpoints, among them the case of President Trump's friend and advisor, Roger Stone, convicted of obstruction and lying to Congress. Barr overruled prosecutors in the case to recommend a lower sentence than they had. Barr told Democrats it was the only time he's done that in this administration, but that it was because the original recommendation was way out of line with norms.
That's not what I'm not asking you that.
The judge agreed with me.
I'm not asking whether.
I know you're not asking.
I'm not asking you that.
Saying.
And the issue here is whether Roger Stone was treated differently because he was friends with the president.
Democrats sometimes spoke over the Attorney General, and often Republicans like Mike Johnson of Louisiana gave him their time to answer and defend himself.
I'm supposedly punishing the president's enemies and helping his friends. What enemies have I indicted? Who could you point to one indictment that has been under the department that you feel is unmerited, that you feel violates the rule of law?
The hearing was not just about Trump and politics, but also about the past few months of protest, violence, and police confrontations, including the Trump administration's response recently in Portland, Oregon. And more directly for Barr, who was nearby, the use of force to clear out protesters near the White House on June 1st.
And the protesters aren't mobs. They are mothers and veterans and mayors. In this moment, real leadership would entail de-escalation, collaboration, and looking for ways to peaceably resolve our differences. Instead, you use pepper spray and truncheons on American citizens.
Barr defended the response as necessary, pointing out police and property have been harmed, and a federal building has repeatedly been targeted in Portland.
We are on the defense. We're not out looking for trouble. And if the state and the city would provide the law enforcement services that other jurisdictions do, we would have no need to have additional marshals in the courthouse.
Above it all, a broader question about policing.
Does the Trump Justice Department seek to end systemic racism and racism in law enforcement? I just need a yes or no answer.
I don't agree that there's systemic racism in the police department.
Specifically,
generally in this country.
But in a separate hearing today, a D.C. National Guard member spoke out against the federal police response to protests. Major Adam DeMarco told the House Natural Resources Committee what he saw when authorities moved against the demonstration near the White House on June 1st.
From my observation, those demonstrators, our fellow American citizens, were engaged in the peaceful expression of their First Amendment rights. Yet they were subjected to an unprovoked escalation and excessive use of force.
That hearing's other witness, Acting Park Police Chief Gregory Monahan, testified that protesters had been combative for days, and the decision to move on them was made by his officers, not by the White House, because they anticipated more violence. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Lisa Desjardins.